Alright, welcome to twitch.tv/EvilSqueegee. I'm EvilSqueegee, and this is Judas Deer Season 2 premiere. Season 2 is entitled Saint, Sinner, and Scientist, or something along those lines, because I am a fucking clever son of a bitch. Alright? Sarah's still looking at me weird because I made her put her hands on her head.
I find that immensely degrading.
Shut your shoulders!
Oh, man. So, next up. Okay, we've done our intros. What's gonna happen here is we're gonna go through, you know what, fuck it, let's get this party started with some cognition. 3, 2, 1. Cognition. 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 Alright, ladies and gents, welcome to twitch.tv/EvilSqueegee. I am the Marshal today. That means I'm gonna be your game master, your storyteller, your dungeon master, whatever you want to call it. In Deadlands, I am known as the Marshal. Our posse today consists of Sam, a Marshal of the United States, as opposed to the Confederate States, which if you were paying attention during the intro, you might notice was a thing. We'll get into that in just a little bit, though. Then there is Matthias, who he has said on several occasions has been an ex-priest turned huckster. What's a huckster, you ask? A huckster is somebody who practices witchcraft of the Wild West, which is done with mystical playing cards and mischief spirits and the hunting grounds, which you might know more colloquially as the astral. And then there is Finn. Finn is a pony express rider who has slowly been turning to God to explain that which his mind cannot comprehend. And to gambling to explain that which his heart cannot comprehend. The posse began their adventures. God, it feels like forever ago. 3 adventures ago. We've been through 3 whole adventures.
That we have,
Wow.
Marshall.
So, season 1...
More importantly, we all survived 3 adventures, which is the impressive part.
Season 1 started, but before Season 1 started, alright, a couple of things went down. The world history, as you know, it was pretty much the same up until Gettysburg, where something happened. And nobody's quite certain what went down, but the Texas Rangers and the Men in Black, formerly known as the Pinkerton, the Men in Black Dusters, formerly known as the Pinkertons, have gone to great efforts to cover up a lot of the details of what happened at Gettysburg. And a lot of the people who went to Gettysburg seem to have some crazy kind of PTSD, letters in the right order and all that nonsense.
Oh, money shot.
Give me $50, 10 crits for Crit Jare. Happy Canada Day, bitch.
Thank you, Yumi.
Really? You get 10 crits? This is like the only crits you've
No.
ever been purchased in your life, and all you got...
Shit! I thought that was 2 crits! I don't think I've ever seen that many crits all at once. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen that many crits on my sheet. Ever. Let alone in a row. I did not understand that because my mind cannot comprehend 10 crits. I'm gonna need a minute in my bunk alone off of Twitch.
Alright, so you
Get away from me.
your AFK screen is you'll be right back. No, so alright, so something happened at Gettysburg, and basically the Civil War continued to go on. It didn't really end in this timeline, and as a result, you could say that the South kind of won, because now there is a United States and there is a Confederate States. It's a bunch of no man's land. There's a couple of things that gone down, like the Sioux Nations formed up. I think it's fucking what state? Utah is a nation unto itself, founded by the Mormons, that neither side of the war has ever really fought to claim. Take that as you will. Meanwhile, California sunk into the sea in the Great Quake of '68, and in the rubble, in the wreckage, they discovered ghost rock, which is a lot like coal, but it burns 10 times more powerfully. It is so named for the howl from beyond that it releases when it is burned. And this fueled, there were a couple of inventions that, you know, improved coal machines that now use ghost rock. But on top of that, around the United States and the Confederate States, scientists started practicing new science and making all kinds of incredible discoveries. I assure you, as the world has moved into the steampunk revolution, the industrial age has come early. In addition to all of that, however, there is a lot going on under the surface of the world that nobody seems to understand or acknowledge. Some of us have had more experience in this than others. For instance, new science, often termed mad science by those who are unwilling to accept change, is actually not the result of flashes of inspiration, but the result of demons whispering ideas and infernal contraption designs and blueprints into the minds of those who are receptive enough to try. The nature spirits that the Native Americans have always beseeched and worked with for miracles of their own are a lot more responsive now, as are those same demons, those mischief spirits responding to hucksters, practicers of the fine art that was encoded in Hoyle's Book of Games, wherein mischief spirits that are amazingly powerful, only able to impact our reality by working through our bodies if we allow them, cannot resist a gamble, have to be stuck to their word, and suck at poker. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the world right now, but our story's focused on these three hombres. These poor mudsills. Sam, vet of the war, lost her arm, also lost her twin brother. Been looking for him ever since, was looking for a big chunk of dinero, hoping to fund an actual effective search party to find her missing brother. Not killed in action, she hopes, just missing. Matthias, exiled from the church, or rather on the run, shrouded in mystery why, doesn't quite trust the priesthood doesn't quite trust him, was on the run with his little sister, till he left her without a word at a friend of the family's place, and has decided that he's gonna buy back her affections and make it all okay. Needs a large lump sum of money to pull that off. And then there's Finn. Finn, the man who cannot resist a gamble, the man who cannot win a gamble, the man who owes a lot of money to a lot of people, specifically to a man by the name of Antonio Andolini. A man so brutal and so grotesque in the gambling circles that nobody's ever seen his face, and everybody is horrified of him. Finn, rather than paying his debts right out, because he can't, took up working for the Pony Express, hoping to make some money. Just so happened to conveniently pull him away from Antonio Andolini in the first place. But that name seems to keep cropping up as you keep going through your adventures now, don't it, Finn?
Well, he doesn't hear that name a lot, just from that one little Timmy, or Jimmy.
Now, as time has gone by, the posse has encountered increasingly supernatural things. They've encountered a man that could not die. They've encountered some kind of cult. They've seen the after effects of black magic. They haven't witnessed too much of it firsthand, with the exception of the first cult. The gun that can kill anything. Which is totally my original idea, I swear to God, was not lifted directly out of the pages of any of my favorite TV shows in the slightest. And, what happened was each of the posse, in dire need of money, was contacted by a man by the name of Jack of Spades. Jack of Spades was recruiting a group of people to go digging for some ancient, long-forgotten Injun treasure. Well, they eventually did get there, fighting their way through other mercenary groups, wildlife, and worse. And when they finally arrived in the cave full of gold, having their own little victory moment, it turned out that Jack of Spades had been prepared. He gassed them all, left them to die in the cave, and when they woke up, there was no treasure, no Jack of Spades. Thus, the party kind of bound together, initially just looking to get the son of a bitch who double-crossed them, and hopefully get their hands on that money. Their adventures took them through some secret Confederate bases. There was a lot of train riding involved. There were some bears, whole bunch of stuff. Eventually, they did manage to catch up to Jack of Spades. But it was too late. He'd already sold their treasure to, quote, the man who never sleeps. All kinds of rumors and scuttlebutt going on around that boy. Party did manage to catch Jack, though. Jack looking to put an end to them trailing him so he could get back to his life of scum and villainy. Jack is no more. Sam put him down with the first cult, which is now in the possession of Matthias, because after she saw what dark magic lied in the first weapon ever created with such malice, she felt it best that perhaps she should just stick to her Gatling pistol. Matthias picked up the money, not nearly enough to suit the party's needs, but enough to maybe fund some trips going tracking down the man who never sleeps, because the man who never sleeps has their real treasure. However, in that payment of money, there was a locket. And in that locket was a picture of Sam. And on the other side of that locket, a picture of a boy that looks a lot like Sam. Matthias opted initially not to share this information with Sam because she was currently reeling from having just invoked a dark god to murder the man who backstabbed her and took her treasure. Remind me never to be on your bad side. Goddamn woman. I've had some serious problems with some of my exes, but that is at a whole new level of getting fucked, if you know what I mean. Alright. So with all that said, we're going to be launching into Season 2 of Judas Steer. Saints, Sinners, and Scientists. Finn has found God in a way that perhaps few men have found God before. His mind having such a hard time coping with what he'd seen, he's taken solace in the Lord. And it would seem that the Lord has had plans for him all along. Now, in the midst of all this, I do believe each of y'all were changed somewhat drastically by your experiences in the first season of Judas Steer. Sam, you learned that there is more to the world than meets the eye. You've come to accept that science has not yet explained everything, and you have started to experience and experiment on your own. Little do you know that these scientific devices you're designing are whispered into your ear by demons, but you experienced the hunting grounds. You saw firsthand the way the huckster's art works. And rather than deeming this supernatural witchcraft, you seem to accept it as part of reality, just unexplained. And sometimes that seems to be relevant to your designs. You've begun inventing things, such as Matthias's leg, which he lost during an encounter with some cultists. So Matthias now has a steampunk prosthetic, much like Sam does. Now, in addition to this, Matthias, you have slowly been sinking deeper and deeper and deeper into the depths of your own madness. Strangely, doesn't seem to make much of a difference, because you're the same guy you were at the start of Season 1, which says a lot about Matthias, I might add. You just happen to be overly addicted to water, compelled to sneak in every circumstance where there is to be no sneaking. What else happened to you that you pick up?
I have a phobia of computational devices. And I am also, if there's an opportunity for a profit to be made, I'm more than likely gonna do that, even if it's not necessarily the best thing to happen.
And then Finn.
Yes, sir.
At one point in Season 1, your character was scarred so hard your hair turned pure white as snow. You aged a solid year or two. And in order to cope with what you've seen, you've turned to God. Maybe reading your Bible a little bit more than you used to. Taking sin a little bit more seriously than you did before. And putting more and more of your sanity and your fate in the hands of the Lord. Now, In the wake of the death of Jack of Spades, the underground has been left all kinds of a flutter in Tombstone, in Dodge. It seems that wherever y'all go, you're leaving a trail of bodies and worse. After you put Jack down, you're gonna need to find some way to locate information about the man who never sleeps. Which probably means turning back to Tombstone. You'd heard that he was some kind of legend in the Tombstone Epitaph. Who wants to go talk to the Epitaph reporter while the others go get supplies for what is obviously going to be some kind of a trek, probably out of Tombstone? You don't even know if it's north, south, east, west.
I have a couple quick questions, Marshall. You said it would cost about $100 to get a new copy of Hoyle's. About that?
I think yeah. To get an earlier edition.
And Finn, are you gonna pony up that $50 you owe me?
Yeah.
All right. Just making sure everyone's got the money they should be having. Marshall, actually, I want to investigate through a slightly different means, if that's quite all right with you. Because I think it's a good opportunity to actually ask the sheriff of Tombstone if she knows anything about this local legend.
Oh my god, I forgot about the sheriff of Tombstone.
Mm-hmm. I also want Sonny back, so.
Are you gonna spend that like $400, Finn, to pay off some of your gambling debts? By the way,
Not all of them.
I said some.
Uh,
If you could pay off your gambling debts with $400, I don't think you'd be looking for buried Indian treasure.
well,
So the question-
I have a few debts in Dodge, but that's a bit far away.
I was with you. When did you manage to get debt and Dodge? I was with you like 90% of the time. I take my eyes off you for like 1 minute and other people are robbing you. That's just not right.
It was 2 days.
If you got your eyes on him, you're robbing him. So I don't know what you're upset about.
That other people got to him. That was for my perfectly earned gambling money.
Perfectly earned.
So
It's not
you're
my
gonna-
fault you're bad at gambling.
That ain't nobody's fault.
It's his fault he keeps gambling.
It's your fault you keep encouraging him.
No, I'm just doing the Lord's work.
Lord's work. Yeah,
No,
the
you're
Lord's
not.
work,
He's
the
making
Lord's
sure
work.
that Finn's money goes into the ministry as opposed to in some infernal criminal's pocket. That is the Lord's work,
God.
alright?
God's great purpose is to keep Finn penniless. Yes, I see.
No, God is all about testing the faithful. And so I, as an instrument of the Lord, am testing his most faithful.
I think you might be testing him.
Nah, I failed that test a long time ago, as it turns out.
Ugh. All right,
Um,
so what's the plan?
Yeah, so I want to go talk to the sheriff. She seemed a knowledgeable folk around this town and thought she might know something about a local legend.
I bet you want
Alright.
to talk to the sheriff.
God, I forget sheriff's name. It was Emerald, right? Emmy?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Alright. So, what are the others doing while Matthias goes to talk to the sheriff?
Staying as far away from the sheriff as possible. And is that scientist still in town?
Hellstrom?
Yeah.
You know, he might be.
Because now that we're back, that's what I was doing when they came to find me to say, hey, we got to go to the place.
Right.
And
Okay,
I didn't want to go.
So Hellstrom, so you want to go looking for Hellstrom, all right? So you're gonna go because you can't quite find it. Nobody seems to know if he's still here or not. Nobody seems to remember him leaving, right? So maybe he might still be here. So you're gonna go looking for that. And Finn, what are you doing?
I'm going to see about talking to Father Elijah about where the whereabouts of a certain man who never sleeps, seeing if he knows anything.
I'm sorry. Could you please repeat that?
I'm going to go talk to Father Elijah to see if he knows
Elijah,
about
Tombstone. All right. Yep.
to see about if he knows anything about a man that never sleeps.
All right. So we got Sam hunting Hellstrom. Finn going to talk to Father Elijah, and Matthias going to talk to Emma. So, let's start with Matthias. So, Matthias.
Yes, sir, Marshal.
My favorite little schizophrenic priest.
Happy to help.
All right. So,
Oh, we never draw ships.
we did not. Let's get that out of the way, shall we?
Do we have the legend chip in the pot, Marshal?
Not yet. I will be working with someone soon to fix
Pyromancy.
that. My assistance shall remain anonymous.
Alright.
No.
1, 2, 3. Those are for Serranus.
Alright, 3
All
white.
right, you got 3 white chips there. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Those are for Finn. That's not Finn. That's fucking Matthias. Sam. And Marshall. I would.
Am I the only person when he does that hears the Brady Bunch in his head?
Yes.
All right, that's fair.
All right. So, with all that said and done, all right. So Matthias, you step up to the sheriff's office, right? And as you are stepping up to the sheriff's office, you can't help but notice that there is a shady-looking fella leaning just next to the door. Right, he's got a grizzled-looking face. He's wearing a tattered shirt, vest. He's got his gun belt hanging, so his gun's right on his thigh, right where your hand falls. You know, it's not quite on his hip. It's a little lower than that. He's wearing a black hat and an eye patch. He's got tattoos down one arm and scars down the other. And he gives you a hairy eyeball as you walk up. But he doesn't say nothing. But you're getting a up to no good vibe from this sumbitch sitting right outside Emma's office. Well, right outside the building Emma's office is in. Do you do anything about this hombre on your way in? Do you react? Do you say anything?
No, I'm just gonna, since he's giving me a hairy eye, I'm gonna give it right back to him, because I ain't backing down from nothing like that.
Right, roll me overall.
I would, however, I will botch because of pyromancy.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that for me? I didn't hear. I could have sworn.
I will be botching because of pyromancy.
Oh, was that a botch? Was that a botch, Matthias? Did you just botch your overall check? All right, now Matthias, I need you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
That was a lot of d20s. I need you to show me how one botches an overall check. like this, all right? Can you be the most attempting to intimidate while also being the least intimidating possible? What do you say? What do you do? Pyromancy, can you please gift that for me? Thank you. All right, so there you are, Ing, right?
I don't know why I hope I pushed the talk down for that, for the record.
Did you
Just-
actually hold your push the talk
I
down for
did the
that?
whole time, yeah.
All right, and okay, so there you are, and this guy's giving you the hairy eyeball, and you try and give it right back, right? And he's punch you in the face, right in the middle of one of those weirdo expressions you're making, right? And he's just gonna clock you right upside the head. Pow! And you're gonna go stumbling back. You're gonna fall back down the stairs. And he's gonna start lumbering up to you on the steps as you're like sitting on your ass, like trying to push yourself up. So you got the staircase going down onto the dirt road, right? And and so he's lumbering down at you, and his hand is getting awfully close to that gun. Says, "You got a problem, son?"
I just got a problem with people who got a problem with me that I ain't never met before to have a problem with.
God, I miss Matthias. He's gonna look confused for a second. And while I figure out the hell he does next, we're gonna flip the camera over. We're gonna flip the camera over to Sam.
All right.
All right, Sam. Where do you go looking first for Hellstrom? Dr.
Wherever.
Darius Hellstrom.
Is there like a hall, a place where people might give speeches or do lectures or things like that in town?
Most of that probably happened at the town hall, I assume.
All right, that's where I would like to go.
All right, so you go into the town hall, signified by the big building and the sign that says town hall, right? And as you step up, all right, you find the sheriff Emma, and she'll be messing around with something on a desk, like some kind of device. She can't seem to put it together, and the plugs don't click, and she twisting knobs and turning dials, and she can't quite figure out what's wrong with it. You don't see Darius Hellstrom anywhere, and she hasn't quite recognized you, so you could step away quietly if you wanted.
I'm just gonna walk up and take the device from her and put it together, whatever it is.
And she's futzing around with some kind of, she's doing the things, clicking and the clacking and the twisting and all of a sudden you just poof and just you startle her, right? And she will, and so what you recognize this device. This is a small like ghost rock capsule that's starting to be standardized in a lot of the stuff you see in the Smith and Roberts catalog, which is where, all the new science that's being mass-produced and set out, where the industrial era is starting to kick in. It's Smith and Roberts, right on the ground floor, all that. And they've got this whole, like, ghost rock power capsule that plugs in, and it's starting the electric revolution that a lot of people are having a hard time adjusting to, right? Like, it is all coal and steam-based still, but they've managed to generate electricity, even if they don't quite understand all of its properties yet, and so most scientists are like backing up, like, we're not ready to work with this. But Smith and Roberts, they've never been one to be intimidated by humanity's resistance to change. And so you recognize this power capsule, and she's putting it together, and she's sitting there with the instruction manual, can't seem to make heads or tails of it. And you can just, like, slap it all together, provided you give me a nice Probably give me an all natural tinkering roll. Oh yeah, that'll be enough. An 11. All right. So you slap that thing together, and then what do you do?
What is it clear what the purpose of this thing is?
Yeah, you're supposed to plug it into a bigger machine. Like there's a standardized power slot in some of the Smith and Roberts machines. Yeah, it's basically just a battery.
What do you need this for?
The sound, the volume increasing machine, for the mayor. Amber kind of stutters as you put it together, like you just click like pop, just poof, the same way somebody from the military like disassembles and reassembles their gun like rapidly, right? And she seems to be taken aback by this. And she kind of looks you up, Dutch. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll set it back down on the table in front of her. Is the mayor the only one giving any speeches today?
I think that Dr. Darius said he was gonna give us the speech
Girl,
today.
okay, stop, just stop. All right, sit up straight. Look at me in the eyes. Now open your mouth and speak to me.
She opens her mouth and just blushes. But no words seem to come out of the mouth once it is open, so she closes the mouth again.
I'm going to lean forward on the table, and I am attempting to be as intimidating as possible. For the record. And I'm going to put both hands on the table with steampunk arm, just hissing. You are the sheriff of Tombstone. You cannot let people see you like this.
Roll me overall.
I will crit. Thank you, Dreadnire.
This woman is putty in your hands. In the sense that you have successfully been a very intimidating and you are the figure in charge here, all right? Which is apparently everything she is hoping you would be. So you're not getting quite the response you expected. But what result were you looking to get from her?
That's tough because I wasn't in the conversation that Matthias had with her, so like I don't know.
Good luck.
Basically, I'm wanting to have her on my side.
Oh, you have definitely gotten that. You have gotten her on your side. Yeah. We'll play. Okay, I will attempt to be as tactful as she would fuck the shit out of you right now. All right, that is. All right, that's kind of where this is going. All right.
Hey, that was mine. Wow, that is one floozy of a sheriff, and I say that because, well, she is.
Whatever I have to do to get between her and Matthias is fine. So,
I will completely have her. I do not mind this arrangement in the least. Sacrifices that I will make for my posse and for my friends is I will give it all. All right?
Y'all are heathens.
I will give it every ounce and every drop that I have.
I'm sure you will. Is there a chair nearby?
Yes.
By the table she's sitting at. Okay. I drag the chair over, and I'm gonna do the whole like flip it around and like straddle it and like put my arms up on the back of it kind of thing.
That might be the best gift that I've ever seen.
How the hell did you get to be sheriff of Tombstone?
Nobody else stepped up, and I'm a pretty good shot, man.
You're a pretty good shot, huh?
Just yep. Can shoot a shot glass from 300 yards away.
I would like to see that, given how bad you're shaking right now. Who was the guy who was with you back over by the, well, you know, when the gallows and the, you know, the hanging?
Which one?
Nah, the one in the wheelchair.
Percy? He's an old friend of the family.
Is there more family?
Not no more. Not no more. Lost him to a sandstorm.
That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that.
It was a long time ago.
Tell me something, Emma. Do you want to be sheriff of Tombstone?
She thinks she's just. I don't rightly no. I don't want Tombstone to have a corrupt sheriff. Did you want something done right? Best be doing it yourself, right?
Yep, I can get behind that.
So could I. I could get behind. Wait, hold on. Never mind.
So Darius, he's speaking here at some point.
I think so.
You know when?
Tonight.
Mayor's also speaking today and tonight, or soon. What's the mayor got to say?
No idea really. Just kind of hoping that maybe that Epitaph might be taken down.
The Epitaph? You mean the tabloid?
Gets in town a lot of bad attention from a lot of bad folk.
I gotta say, I'm not from around here, and it reaches wide. I've heard of the Epitaph almost as soon as I heard of Tombstone.
Get all kinds of crazy folk coming into town. Folk protesting or defending. It's really controversial, and the kinds of folks who get really emotional about it always seem to drift through town and cause trouble.
You have a copy on you?
Yeah.
I'd like to see it if you don't mind.
And she'll like fumble around and pull out a copy of the Tombstone Epitaph, and she'll hand it to you.
Okay, there's a code in the Epitaph that was the first letter of each paragraph on the third page or something like that. And I don't.
I have it written down. Hold on.
So do I. That's what I'm looking for. Every third word on the 7th page of the newspaper. I would like to turn to the 7th page of the newspaper and sort of be mentally recording what that is.
All right. Question: where is this coming from? Was this something I said?
Yeah,
it is something you said.
There
okay.
is a code.
I need my memory refreshed about what I had said and like where. Like this is I'm being left fielded by myself. I love being the GM.
This was on the train car with the interrogation with that guy.
Okay.
With Jack.
Mr. Broken Leg over here interrogated the guy. He said this as part of it.
Right, and this was part like what did he say that it was?
Oh, about it was like cultist meetings or something.
That was how they were finding out where they were supposed to go was because every third word on the 7th page of the newspaper was the code.
All right. So the word on this edition of the newspaper is going to be happy.
Okay. Thank you.
I have never
You
blindsided
write that.
myself so hard. I was like, did she read that in the book? Is this did I actually miss a canon detail somewhere? What is going on? Like, that was so confusing. All right.
Campaign lore. So I'll hand it back to her.
Yep.
Thank you. You gonna be at the meeting here tonight?
Yeah. As sheriff, I tend to need to be at all the important meetings for the town.
I agree. You should maybe try not to speak to too many people, though. You know, because of your little. It's cute, and I'll like chuck her chin and stand up.
Right, and like she's going to she's like, and then she realizes she's talking about the stutter, right? And she looks like she wants to explain something, but she can't find the words. And then you're like, it's cute, and you touch her chin, right? And any words that might have happened, even stuttered, suddenly will not happen anymore, right? And just the fucking like deer in the headlights, just with like this not certain about anything anymore, but like unconscious smile on her face as she's just like staring for a second and then realizes that she can blink again. Right?
I'm walking away. Done. I'll come back tonight for the thingy, but that's all I wanted to know.
Alright. Now, Serranus! Finn!
Yes, sir.
Going to talk to Father Elijah, ain't you?
Yes, sir.
So Father Elijah is in the church at Tombstone, as he always is, right? And he will be deep in concentration reading from a big dusty Bible with old pages that look very delicate, stained and worn down from the ages, much like the priest, who looks very delicate, stained and worn down from the ages.
Well, I'm gonna make sure that he probably knows that someone at least has stepped in by making a little bit of noise coming in. I don't want him to mess up the pages on the
Kitty.
the Hi, Kitty.
Kitty! That was not what Father Elijah said at all. Kitty cat, oh my god, where's the kitty? The cat's like, I fucking hate you, Mom. You do this every time. Why do I come here, Mom? Okay, so now we're done not playing Elijah. Let's go back to playing Elijah.
And like suddenly startle him.
Right, so you can like clear your throat or scuff your boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So after a moment, Father Elijah will he'll kind of turn around, and I don't have my cane nearby, but he'll pick up his cane and he'll turn around. And he says, Finn.
Hello, Father.
Back so soon?
Yes. I'm in need of, guidance. A little more information than guidance, however.
Ask away, son.
Do you know of the man that never sleeps?
I know of the legends. Man that never sleeps. It's the talk of youngins and folks who don't know what to make of the world yet.
Do you know anything about him or where he might be?
This is I'm afraid I don't know too much. I know that the stories of the man who never sleeps started shortly after the town was visited by a wealthy card shark. And a couple of the folks from town went missing after this wealthy card shark made his mark on the gambling scene in Tombstone.
Do you know this card shark's name?
Anthony, I think?
Antonio?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, goodness. Antonio Andolini.
This is, yeah, one of them Italian folk. So he came through, and a couple of the boys that had gambling problems just didn't seem to come back no more. And after that, like, the man who never sleeps was a tale you heard told around the campfire around here for a while, and it was always about somebody different. And then the war. It never really stops, I suppose, but Gettysburg. It was after Gettysburg. That's where the story started to really flourish, you know? People always pointing their fingers at each other, saying, that's the man that never sleeps. No, that's the man that never sleeps. Everybody always looking to claim that they were that.
I see. Thank you, Father. That was a good help.
Couldn't tell you why, but I suppose the Lord works in mysterious ways. Whatever business you've got with the man that never sleeps, though, word of advice: play it careful. Whether or not the stories are true is irrelevant. People tend to go missing whenever those stories crop up.
If I know Antonio Andolini, those stories might have some weight.
Well, can't say I believe you, but I'm not the one he chose, so if you need anything else, you know where to find me.
Bless you, Father.
God bless. And he will turn and he will take his old withered hand and turn an old withered page in his old withered Bible.
Finn will turn around and walk out.
Matthias!
Yes, sir.
You got your butt dirty. You're staring up at a boy.
Oh.
You got your butt dirty.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got punched down some stairs outside of Emma's office. Right?
Well, I mean, getting punched down a series of stairs ain't nothing unusual, I must admit.
Now this is one mean mugging hombre. And he's looking like he's a little too fond of that gun at his hip.
Well, if he's looking a little too fond, you said he was looking all confused like when I said what I said.
You definitely stunned him with confusion for just a moment at the very least.
I'm gonna take that second and I'm gonna do a quick draw.
Alright, roll it for me, son.
Hold on.
Please tell me you botch. Please.
I will, in fact, be critting thanks to Tech Yumi. Thank you, Yumi.
Fuck off, Yumi. Ruining my hopes and dreams. Alright, so. What do you do? Do you shoot once you get that pull out?
Nah, I'm just gonna draw on him.
Alright, so here's what we're gonna do, because that's an unnatural crit. We like to put a little icing on top when you get an unnatural crit. Oh, pyromancy is really starting to feel the weight of Yumi's donations. You might be straight fucked, son. You might be straight fucked. Just a hunch, alright?
I might have to suck me some Dark Lord off later.
I suspect that you are about to feel potentially the wrath of pyromancy and the wrath of the Dark Lord himself.
Nah, man. I assure you that I will need the Dark Lord's graces if Pyromancy decides that he wants to continue this.
So you rip out that gun, right? And you've got it on him, and he freezes. He puts his hands up, and he looks down at you when he says, all right, you got me. Simmer down.
I could be saying the same thing to you. Now, want to tell me what our issue is, sir?
Password is fishy.
Do I recognize that password, Marshall?
No, you don't, but there was a cult centered in Tombstone. And you did seem to find a frequent fish-themed experience to be common among all of your dealings with that cult.
All right. I'll slip the shotgun away and I'll nod at him.
Then he will nod. He says, apologies for the misunderstanding. Certain you get it, the garb. It's disconcerting, that's all. I respect a good disguise. Good work. For talking. And he will just kind of walk past you.
I will watch him leave. And I will say those goddamn fishes are back again.
I'm going to take this one moment here, alright? Fucking Zangmak is spamming so hard right now. Pluto Fairy, thank you so much for the raid. You know we got mad crazy loves for Pluto Fairy, alright? Pluto Fairy, if you don't know who Pluto Fairy is, you should totally check her out. She streams a whole lot of Final Fantasy XIV. You can find Pluto Fairy on our channel at 4 p.m. EST tomorrow for no, maybe tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow. I don't know! She plays in the Dungeons & Dragons when she plays, and when she doesn't play, we sob a sad and depressed sob. I'm trying to compliment a woman here, shut up! Anyways. This is the slowest moving construction equipment I have ever witnessed in my life. Parked right outside my window right now.
I can't hear it.
It would be pretty slow if it were parked.
Fuck.
As you do.
Alright, so thank you so much for the raid there, Pluto Fairy. So, Matthias. That, you just encountered a cultist, you think?
I did.
Lurking right outside Emma's office.
I'm going to take a good long moment to memorize that individual's features.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to tuck those away in my noggin for later.
Alright.
And I'm going to walk up and I'm going to knock on the sheriff's door.
Sheriff is going to be a little busy. You can hear the rummaging around in the office for just a moment. Just a minute. After a moment, she will answer the door. God, I love the confusion on your face when you suddenly have no idea what's real and what ain't. It is so delicious.
And we were both schizophrenic.
And nobody knows shit. I love it.
Oh.
Welcome, Sarah, to the journey in the dark wood. Please, let me show you around, and your friend, and my friend, and his friend, and your friend, and his friend, and her friend.
I only have you two as my friends.
So
Shut up!
You
Emma,
get to have lots of friends, though.
Emma will look at you, and
And then this
immediately,
guy.
like, she will smile, but it is not a happy smile. She says, "What can I do you for?" What did you introduce yourself as last time?
Joseph.
What can I do you for, Joseph?
$20.
I will kind of like look back a moment. I'll say, well, I must admit you're less enthused to see me than I had hoped you might be.
Been a long day at work.
Sheriff of Tombstone, I can only imagine. Anything I can help you with?
She says, yeah, actually, I've started to track somebody who I think might mean ill for the town. And as the sheriff, it's my job to keep track of folks who mean ill for the town.
Understandably.
I'm looking for a fella by the name of, word is he's got some kind of heavy connection to the underground, both in Tombstone and in Dodge. It goes by the name of Matthias.
No, I can't say I've ever heard that name. Where'd you hear it?
She says, "Oh, I'm a sheriff. I get all kinds of sources. I can't just go exposing them."
No, sorry. I haven't heard the name before, so I wasn't real sure what to make of it. You just said he's supposed to have some connections?
She says, "Yeah. Sources say he's got acquaintances in the less than legal side of Dodge City, and he might have been through town recently. We don't know. There was a big to do something poker or something for criminals and outlaws recently. So I figured, if we could find some information on this Matthias fella, that might be a good place to start if you really wanted to help."
Well, I will do my best on that part. If there was a big criminal to do, have you managed to get any information about that? Like who might have been there or where it was going on or anything like that?
Rumor has it was connected somehow to Jack of Spades.
I heard about him. Tough hombre, real nasty type.
She says, yeah, there was a couple others, and she'll rattle off a couple of names. Some of them were there, some of them weren't, right? She says, but most of those are known quantities. This Matthias fella, he's a new face on the scene, so to speak. Not many people seem to know too much about him. And I'm looking to make certain that if he brings trouble, it's the kind of trouble we are prepared to handle.
As I said, as a sheriff, that's understandable. I will do what I can to get some information. In exchange, I did have some information that I was hoping to get from you. And I'm more than willing to exchange this information if that is how you are so inclined. I was looking to get some information on the man who never sleeps. It's like a local legend around these parts, as I understand it.
She says, "Oh, yep, I heard of him. He's supposed to have some kind of underground connections. He's got his fingers in all kinds of pies. It's more of a title, I think, to be honest with you, like a title thrown around between outlaws. Always seems to show up every time there's a big poker game. Somebody gets accused of being the man who never sleeps. Every time there's a big debt. I think the first time I heard it was probably a month after that big card shark boy came through town. I was younger then. Some Italian fella. But if you want real information, real information. If you're looking for a wealth of knowledge on the legend, I can't believe I'm actually about to do this, but I might recommend stopping by the Epitaph. They have published several articles which have made my life a miserable hell. Spooking locals and spawning copycats and all kinds of nonsense. It's not good for the town, but free country, what can you do?
Suppose it's got to bring in something to the town now, getting some kind of touristy attraction kind of thing.
Never the tourists you want.
That's fair.
Town breed. And Epitaph brings all kinds of legend hunters, which are invariably rude and lying sorts of folks. Or folks that are here to apply for work. Crazy types who actually believe that nonsense. Neither of which are the kind of people you want to base your town's economy on. Both are unreliable. Very unreliable, dishonest types.
Now, there was a man outside. Do you have any idea who that was?
No?
This weird, real shady looking type skulking around the place. I'll look into it.
I appreciate it.
You were mentioning about this new character on the scene, so maybe it's connected.
Definitely worth looking into.
Yeah. All right. I will go take a look at the epitaph as you suggested, and I'll do some digging for you on this Matthias feller.
Super appreciate it, Joseph. Now, if you excuse me, I got work to get to.
Sure thing, ma'am. Thank you kindly for the time.
And Sheriff Emma will go back into her office. She'll close the door.
And I'll head right on over to the epitaph.
All right, now, at that, it is top of the hour because I have to pee so badly because I have drank an entire pot of coffee. A cup of pot of coffee. A pot of cup of coffee. Welcome back to Twitch.tv.
Should
I don't
put my
even feel
hands
bad
back on
for
my
you.
head?
No. Not doing
Welcome back to
it.
Twitch.tv/EvilSqueegee. I'm EvilSqueegee. And this is Judas Steer. All right, now, when we last left off here, Finn, where were you headed? You just gotten back from talking to Father Elijah.
I'm gonna try to find one of the other posse members. No idea where they went. Actually, I do know where Matthias went. He said he was going to the sheriff's office.
All right. So Sam, where are you headed after your conversation with Emma?
Well, I know that the Darius Hailstrom is going to be at town hall, and I know that, and know that the mayor is going to be at the town hall. And I think that maybe the town hall is maybe a good place that I should sit close by. So, is there a saloon around here where I can go get a whiskey before I go to the?
There is, in fact, a saloon where you can get a whiskey.
Excellent. I will head there.
All right, so Sam, you head to the saloon to get a whiskey, and there you will meet a you step into the saloon, you throw the doors open, and you waltz in. Right, you get a couple of glances because you got a big machine arm on you, but you carry yourself with such a presence that people just tend to not stare. A lot of people seem to put some distinct effort into not looking. Right. And you sit down at the bar. And there, sitting next to you, is a cowpoke that seems vaguely familiar, but you can't quite place him, right? And you're looking at him from one side. And what do you order?
Whiskey neat.
You order whiskey neat, tender, kind of slides it over to you. And you're gonna take note as he slides it over to you that he doesn't look at the man next to you at all.
I'll shoot the whiskey, set it down, and say, pour me another.
Tender fills in your order. The man sitting next to you, even with his eyes just locked forward, How much did he have on him?
I'm sure I have no idea what you mean.
You put Jack down with the gun, right?
Which Jack?
Spades.
Who's asking?
Priest is crazy. How much did he give you? 200? 300? Did you even see the loot?
Now, sir, you are asking some questions that I'm a little uncomfortable with without a name. And I'll actually look at him.
Alright, you look at him. He's still looking forward. He says, call me Winchester.
How do you know about the gun?
I got a long history with the cult. Hard for that trigger to get pulled without me knowing. Been a while. A long while.
Well, you may or may not believe this, but it was shrunk and hidden in a dungeon.
This is Confederate lab.
Was the lab party you're making, or would you say that you are a little on the other side of things?
I didn't make it. But I remember it.
You been there before?
I escaped it, manner of speaking, I suppose.
Did you hear a bird to the ground?
Heard. Didn't see it.
Well, it's true.
Good riddance. Place was an abomination.
As for your question, I'm still not going to answer it. Don't make a habit of going around and spouting off what's in my bank account, what's in my pocket, what's in my holster. Don't really talk about those things.
I didn't need an answer. He says, information's not important to me. Just looking out for a friend.
Do I know you?
He says, we've been through some stuff together. He's still looking dead ahead.
Is there a mirror behind the bottles in the bar? Sometimes bars have that mirror behind the...
Yeah.
Oh, look at the mirror.
He's there, but he's not. The reflection isn't... The reflection is just muddied enough, just dirty enough, that it might not actually be him in it, right? But the shape is there.
I'm sorry, it may have been a lot of years. Could you refresh me on the shit we've been through together. I've gotten a little absent-minded recently.
He says, nothing special in the long run, I suppose. Revenge. Theft. Duels. Gambling.
Is it dawning on me? Because I think it's dawning on me.
Alright, go ahead, run with it.
Did I try to kill you at one point?
No.
Did you try to kill me?
This is not you. And I don't try to kill folk. I just kill them. I ain't your enemy.
No. No, I don't believe you are. That doesn't mean.
He's a real close friend of yours. Sorry, I'm actually having fun with this too because I've been aboard the crazy train long enough to start recognizing some of the signs.
He says, I understand you got questions. A stranger you can't quite recognize seems to come out of thin air. Asking you questions ain't nobody else gonna be able to ask, knowing things. Not a whole lot of folks have the ability to know about things they weren't there for. I understand, I ain't taking no offense. Can't give you all the answers you want, though. Not how it works.
What do you want from me?
This is... I ain't want nothing.
Then I believe it.
Learned my lesson a long time ago.
What lesson was that?
You ever wonder how valuable a human life is?
No. I usually know.
He says, that's what I thought too.
Well, I don't believe we have any more to talk about then.
Didn't have much to talk about to start with, I suppose. He went north. I think.
Who
Man
went north?
A man who never sleeps. You want to learn more about him? I suggest you start looking in your box of clues. Currently, I think your priest friend split it 3 ways, but I don't think he's telling you everything.
That could very well be the case.
Not sure why. He doesn't really strike me as the unnecessarily deceptive type. Just a pain in the ass.
He is that.
Tell you what though, boy's got a grip like a vice. Tell him to ease up for me.
I might just do that.
Thanks. See you next time. And he'll turn his back, and he'll walk out the door. You never see the other side of his face.
I'm going to find Matthias.
Fucker's the cult.
Not quite.
So,
Or the
You're not bad,
person sacrificed to make the cult.
So, Matthias, you are
Yes,
coming
sir.
you're coming out of the sheriff's office, right? You're walking down
Yes,
the road.
sir.
And then Finn will suddenly be next to you as if he was looking for you. And then, as you're looking at Finn, right, and you're about to say hi to Finn, suddenly Sam is standing next to you too, and she's looking at you with a purpose.
I will look between the two of them and I will say, how long have you been here?
I just got here.
I will look over to Sam.
Just now?
Good. Good. Didn't miss nothing. That's good. Glad I... Alright.
Antonio Andolini was here.
Really? I had no idea.
You're lying.
What makes you say that?
That
You're...
What
Sam
makes
is
you say
right,
that?
you're lying.
Sorry.
He is connected with the man that never sleeps.
See, I know that you're lying. Because you're coming out of the sheriff's office. And surely, they have told you that Antonio Andolini was around here. I know, because I just spoke to the sheriff.
Is that right?
Yeah. She was putting together some battery thing over in the town hall. I was trying to find Darius Hellstrom.
Well, ain't that the niggas?
What? Why?
Huh?
What?
As you said, I just got out of the sheriff's office, the sheriff's office myself, and had myself an interesting conversation. And as you said, exactly that. I learned that Andolini did in fact have contact with the man who never sleeps. I also happen to learn that sheriff's well aware of the poker tournament that went on, and she's looking for a connection to some of the big shots that happen to be there.
She didn't mention any of that to me.
Fancy that.
Father Elijah told me that the man that never sleeps started coming into legend as soon as Antonio Andolini got here.
I'm starting to hear those two names a lot together, although it was suggested to me that perhaps the man who never sleeps is less of a person and more of a title that's passed on to somebody.
That makes sense.
I was told he went north.
Well, I honestly got nothing on where he went. I was going to go ask the Epitaph, see what they knew, since it is a local legend. They seem like the kind of people who would know something about local legends.
Sure, I'm not sure that I want to get started off right away anyway. There's going to be a meeting tonight in the town hall. The mayor's going to say some stuff. Thought it might be useful to listen to.
Is Hellstrom gonna be there?
How'd you know?
I will look over at Finn and I will say, "My, that is impressively perceptive of you, Finn." I wasn't going to call her on it, but I must say I am impressed by your deduction. I am rubbing off on you, and that should make you uncomfortable.
You're both assholes.
It does make me uncomfortable, I assure you.
Guys, I
Good.
got a question. You know a
Yes.
man named You know a man named Winchester?
Grant, I can't turn down this possibility. And so I will do a justice to what I can only imagine might be going through your head right now. And I will pull out my shotgun and I will say, the only Winchester I know is the one I keep by my side. And I will hold it up and I will show her the Winchester logo on the gun. This is the only Winchester I've ever known and the only one I've ever met. So, no, I don't know a man named Winchester.
He seemed to know you. I mean, obviously, I'm familiar with the company. I don't know if he was one of the. If he's related, but.
What did he tell you?
Just said you're an asshole. Just like I did.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong.
He seemed to know about Jack Spades.
Huh. Interesting.
He knew we killed him. And he knew the gun that did it.
Knew the gun that did it.
Mm-hmm.
Did he say anything else?
Was there only money in the box? I mean, I wouldn't expect you to lie to us. I think that the three of us together, we've been through plenty. And I
There
don't.
were a couple other knickknacks. Nothing else of value.
Well, what were they?
Just some personal effects and so forth.
All right, then. He seemed to think that you might be keeping something from us, but I don't buy into some random guy in a saloon. But since he knew who you were, and he seemed to know who I was, it seemed worth asking about.
That is strange. More specifically, that he knew about what happened up with Jack. That's strange.
I thought so.
He didn't say anything about what happened with Jack, though?
No, just knew that we put him down. Knew that we were looking for the man who never sleeps. Said he went north.
Sounds like a man who knows too much, which is either a good friend or a bad enemy.
That's what I thought.
All right. Well, I think we've still got plenty of time before tonight, given that you said that's when the meeting is. So you want to head on over to the Epitaph? I'll look to both of them.
Sure.
Sure.
All right, so y'all head on up to the Tombstone Epitaph headquarters, right? And there is a small gathering of people out front, some of which have, they're deciding that they want to make certain that you know that you are going into a poor, disreputable establishment, and others are just trying to get into and out of the building. It seems to be quite the focal point for controversy. This Epitaph. And in the front window, Sam, of note to you is the Epitaph camera. Specifically developed by the Epitaph, this camera takes pictures in an instant. And furthermore, its pictures are not blurry. It was developed by someone who worked at the Epitaph for people who worked at the Epitaph that they might get crisper pictures of the creepers and crawlers that they write their stories about. Of course, nobody really believes those stories, right? Those images are all fakes and manipulations and fancy artwork. You know, in today's day of science and industry, photo manipulation can't be too much of a difficulty to manage, right? So into the Epitaph y'all go after pushing your way through the crowd. You think for just a moment, Sam, that you see that same side of that same face. But, nah, man. Was mine just be playing tricks on you, I guess. And then inside you go, and there's the receptionist, a young girl. Absolutely gorgeous looking. Right, and she looks up and she says, "What do you want?" Blonde hair, pigtails, braided past either shoulder, and a nice big wide cowboy hat.
Just some information, ma'am.
What do you want to do with it?
Find someone.
Alright. Sorry for the rude introduction. We've had a lot of folks coming in, and conversations don't always go pleasantly. Apologies. How can I help you?
Bless you, ma'am. I was wondering if any of you knew about... Well, I know you know about him, but I would like to see if you knew where the man who never sleeps went off to.
Man who never sleeps. You know, every couple of months we get somebody coming through looking for information on him. So I got a whole file of all our articles on him if you want.
That would be fine.
And for the other two, anything?
Oh, I was just looking for the same thing. I'd heard the stories, and I was very curious about what was going on with such a prevalent local legend.
She says, "Absolutely, if you'll just give me just a moment." And she stands up and she'll scuttle in very politely into the back room, leaving you guys alone in the lobby of the Tombstone Epitaph. Anything you'd like to do in your moment of privacy?
I'm just content to wait.
Look at what she was doing on her desk.
All right. So she was writing down names and dollar sign amounts of some kind. A couple of them you recognize. One of them is a pretty famous reporter who works for the Epitaph. Another one you recognize. There's Hellstrom's name. He's got a fairly significant dollar sign next to his name, right? And then a couple names you don't recognize. And then one of them, Jack of Diamonds.
Jack of Diamonds? Interesting.
The name's in quotation. She obviously doesn't believe that's his actual name. And after a moment, she'll come back out from the back room with a small file. She says, "You know, like, we don't have too many copies of this left, so if you don't need to bring it with you, there's reading benches and stuff across the way there. But take your time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask."
I'll take the file from her, and I will say, "Thank you very kindly, ma'am. I don't think we need to remove the file or take it anywhere. Just want to have a read through it."
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
And I assume the party then sits down to read.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I would like each of you to roll me a cognition check.
I will crit thanks to Yumi, actually.
Does Sam crit or botch?
Nope, this is natural roll for me.
All right.
Ooh. Yeah, I would have critted, but I rolled.
All right. So, Serranus, you picked up or Finn, you picked up a 9. Matthias, you picked up a crit. And Sam?
7.
And a 7. All right. Now, okay. So I'll go around the table here, and I'll tell each of you something that you notice while poring over the files. The Epitaph seems to be pretty thorough. They have all the information you've already got. Plus a couple of different legends and lores, and it's mostly like campfire ghost story stuff. The man who never sleeps has a couple of properties associated with him depending on the tales. There's a story about the man who never sleeps being able to see through walls. There's a story about the man who never sleeps being preternaturally quick. There's a story about the man who never sleeps vanishing into a room with a body, and then the body never being seen, even though he was only alone with it for mere moments. Some posit the man who never sleeps is actually a ghost. Some posit that he's a demon. Whatever he is, it certainly isn't natural, according to the Tombstone Epitaph. But then again, the Tombstone Epitaph is kind of in the business of describing things as unnatural. So, take that with a grain of salt. However, there are some very important pieces of information here. One, the Tombstone's legends of the man who never sleeps always have him going north. Always. He comes from the north, and then he goes back north. Sometimes the man who never sleeps turns out to be a woman. Sometimes it turns out to be a man. This legend actually goes back long before Antonio and Delaney could have ever visited Tombstone, because it seems to have been here even before the white man settled in this area. Matter of fact, a lot of the legends you seem to be reading here might have been adapted from the locals before they were, somewhat displaced. However, in one of the photographs of the man who never sleeps, Sam, that's an awfully familiar looking hat. Can't see his face, but your brother had a hat that looked awfully like that. Same kind of white with the right, the braided leather trim around the base, and the matching leather trim around the rim. Folded up one side. Kind of the way he used to wear it.
I'm feeling like a jolt of adrenaline, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't say anything.
All right. Matthias.
Yes, sir.
You happen to notice a couple things that kind of jump out at you.
All right.
Some of these things are all. Some of these things, they strike you as the kind of thing that you'd hear about a man who came back from the grave, much as you've seen legends and hear tell of before. All these abilities could be easily attributed to the mischief spirits you deal with on a regular basis. Now, you've never heard of any one walking corpse having this many abilities, because obviously, the things that you get the things that those mischief spirits have, each one seems to have its own unique abilities, right? Which is why you have to attract particular breeds and kinds to get your particular hexes to work the way they do. So, maybe the intel you have isn't bad. Maybe it is a bit of a title. But you're definitely thinking that maybe some form of undead has something to do with the man who never sleeps. Finn, there's only two explanations for what you're reading. Overactive imaginations, or the devil.
More than likely the devil.
Our little boy's growing up.
That's right there.
I just hear that, and I'm just like, all I can picture is Finn becoming the guy that keeps going, "The devil! It's the devil!"
More likely some combination of both, really.
Yeah, some of this stuff can't happen. But the other stuff, I'm sure the devil's capable of doing this.
Or tempting men into doing some of these terrible things. The man who never sleeps seems to have a long history of dealing with his problems in a final kind of way.
Murder is not a good thing.
A lot of people who get too close seem to vanish. Whoever the man who never sleeps is, he most certainly does not appreciate too much attention. Which might also explain why the legends are so vast and varied. What better way to hide what you truly are than to obfuscate it in a pile of bullshit?
Well, the Lord will gaze upon him, and he can't make him disappear.
Amen. After y'all are done reading, what do?
I mentioned getting Sonny back.
You left him back in Dodge, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Well,
I will ask Sam if she would care to join me for a drink before her meeting, before we go see the mayor's speech.
Sure. And I've gotten quiet and like I'm not being real responsive. Just like, yeah, that's fine.
all right.
You okay, Sam?
Yeah, fine.
All right. And
So Finn, you're gonna go talk to the local stables, right? See about getting your horse brought up.
yeah.
All right. Real quick, like, the more you pay him, the faster they can get your horse up. They get it here by this evening if your horse isn't afraid of trains.
He's not afraid of. Well, shit. He's afraid of Ghost Rock, isn't he? Damn it.
I'm sorry for your loss.
He's afraid of Ghost Rock, I'm afraid. Let's see.
Well, we could give him a cart way in the back.
I think that would work. How much would that be?
$5.
Alright.
All right. Thank you for business. Now, as for this drink at the bar. Matthias, Sam. The saloon is same way you left it, with the exception of the man whose face you've only seen half of isn't here now.
I'll sit and order a whiskey and not say anything.
I'll order one for myself, and I will say, now, what you said before was not entirely wrong, but it wasn't entirely right either.
Which part? What do you mean?
You were told that I was keeping something from you, and that's not correct. I was waiting to tell you until we had a moment that might work better than where we were and what you were going through. But I thought you might like to have this. And I will hand over the locket that I found on Jack.
As soon as Finn is done with his business, he's going to the saloon.
Mm-hmm. I'll let you know when you get there.
I'll open it up.
It is, in fact, a picture of you and your brother. Matter of fact, you don't even need to ask what's inside of it. You recognize that locket. It was a gift from Ma and Pa for one of your birthdays. What with you being twins and all.
Where Jack had this?
Yeah, I figured after you saw what you saw, you probably wouldn't want to deal with this at the same time, so I was waiting until later. And I figured you might not want to get this in front of Finn either.
No, thanks. No, you're right.
Can't hear you, Sam.
Oh, I'm just gonna close it up and stick it in my pocket.
All right.
And like,
Now, I don't much know what it means, aside from the fact that your search is connected to Jack in some way, but
this is a picture of me and my twin.
I had deduced as much, yeah.
Well, yeah. And we got this. We each got one of these for birthday. Jack of Spades had this.
Yeah, it was the only thing he had on him aside from the money.
Oh shit!
It was actually in the money.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like, yeah, the implication was that it was actually part of the payment.
Yeah, it was actually it was like packaged in with the money. I think he got it as part of the trade.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if he's looking for your brother too or something, or was, I suppose.
One of the pictures in the file, you know, they're all blurry. You can't see who it is, kind of, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
One of them had a hat that was it's my brother's hat. And I don't know if he I want to believe that he knows I'm trying to find him. You know that somehow he's got wind that we're chasing after this treasure, and if he were looking for me too, that maybe he bought the treasure and put the locket in the money, knowing that we would catch up to Jack eventually and I'd find this. That's what I want to believe. Is that wishful thinking?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes wishful thinking's about the only thing that helps us sleep at night. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, what I do want to know from you, because depending on how this one's going to go, this could lead a whole bunch of different ways. Looking back at it, is there anything about your brother that was different, or anything that you might look back on differently now that you've seen the ways of the world?
It's tough to answer because, I mean, I was 14 when I got this. Hold up my arm. I was always the different one. But he did always look out for me. And at the battle, when I lost him, we were always stuck close, you know, like we fought together, we stood side by side. And when I was fighting, I looked up for a second, trying to see through the mist and the smoke and the clouds of the dust stirred up by the hooves of the horses and whatnot. And I looked around, and I looked back, and he was gone, just disappeared. It wasn't even a matter of like crowds and shuffling and like bodies rubbing up against each other and fighting and bayonets, and it was just disappeared, gone. That's probably the strangest thing I'd ever seen related to him.
Well, that ain't nothing small, because given everything you've said,
not now, not given the things that I've seen. You're right. It seems like,
well, I know more than my fair of things and people that could do that. But the thing is that if your relationship with your brother is everything it looks to be and everything you've said it is, well, one piece, there's only two real possibilities in a situation like that. And one is he did it, and there's a reason he ain't found you yet. In which case, that's going to be a whole skeleton full of closets. Or the other case is it weren't him that did it, in which case it's even more important we find him.
Yeah, I agree. To be honest, I don't care one way or the other, but I've never been this close.
Well, I got good news for you. Based on your recent understanding of the new world, at least now you don't have to worry about, there's no hope if he's dead.
True.
Finn, it's at this point you'll walk into the saloon.
I'll grab her another shot, and when he comes in, I'll stand up and walk over to him. Did Finn mention what he was going to go do while we were getting our drinks?
Yeah.
Yep.
Then I will simply say, how did it go with retrieving your horse?
They're sending him up here via train in one of the back cars.
I see.
I know he'll be spooked, but I'll probably get some apples for him when he gets here.
This is your favorite horse, right?
Yes, he is.
Well, I would offer to do so, but I already know you're going to be praying for his safe passage, and that's about the best you can do for him now.
Mm-hmm. What were you gonna say, Squeegee?
Like if that's that, I can move on towards the last 5 minutes or so of the show.
He'll order some water and have a drink of that.
All right. So that evening, the mayor will give a speech. As it turns out, the rumors that Dr. Darius Hellstrom is in town seem to be greatly exaggerated.
God damn it.
And that is the first thing, because the mayor has heard a lot of buzz talk around Dr. Darius Hellstrom, and despite his fame and infamy, despite his genius and some might say madness, he did not visit the Epitaph, and he did not have new technology for Tombstone, and he did not have any dealings with the politicians. And there is a long list of things that Dr. Darius Hellstrom did not have to do with Tombstone. However, in all of this, there is one piece of disturbing evidence that the mayor is here to talk about today. Now, as per your suggestion, Sam, Emma is here. She's a bit in the back, and she's a bit in the back, and she's not talking to anybody. She's nodding, she's smiling, right? In her fancy green dress, with her goggles up, keeping her hair nice and dead, and she will nod to Matthias as Matthias enters before everybody sits down, and she will give him a knowing look. And then she will give a bit of a blushing nod to Sam as Sam enters. And as the mayor starts talking, the mayor, he starts building, after he's done all the denying of Dr. Darius Hellstrom's presence, and a long list of denial it is. Eventually he will turn to the topic that there has been a dark force that has visited our town. And whether or not you are inclined to believe in the supernatural, you need to understand that there are those who do, whether or not it actually exists. and that one such person who was drawn to the town because of the Epitaph has infiltrated the very government by which we live here, and the Confederacy does not approve of corruption or the practice of witchcraft, be it real or false. And he will make his dramatic reveal, and he will point at Emma, accusing her of vile evils and corruption. And he will present his evidence, which questionable at best. But you're not even certain what the evidence is because she goes straight white as a ghost, and the confusion on her face is palpable. But rather than stand still, Emma displays an instinct that a lot of you might have come to appreciate in an individual over your past few adventures, and she gets the hell out of Dodge!
Tombstone.
This will result in a bit of a large ruckus as people start pouring out of their seats. And for being a woman dressed the way she is, in such a big, fluffy, and rich-looking dress, she still makes quite a good clip. Right out of the building, right down the road, right out into the desert before the rest of the townsfolk manage to stop and catch their breath. And she has left them far behind. Now, of all your dealings with Emma, first off, Matthias, you know a thing or two about witchcraft. You've studied the topic from multiple perspectives, shall we say.
And personalities.
Not a whiff of this girl smells anything like devil work to you, or anything that might be mistaken for devil work to you. Matter of fact, she seems to be pretty staunch in her disbelief of the supernatural entirely. Both of you had dealings with her where she was more concerned that the town might have a corrupt sheriff than she was with what she should be doing with her life. She was a cunning girl. But there was that cultist sneaking around, listening in to what she was saying in her office. And you didn't really get a good feel for how the rest of the town felt about her.
Marshall, quick question. The blushing nod that she gives to Sam, would it be possible for Matthias to misinterpret that as directed towards himself, or is that very clearly?
I imagine that would be exactly what Matthias interprets that to be, because he's Matthias. Like, you would not be out of character, out of place at all. If you were to notice it in the slightest. She does try and keep it discreet. Now, after the events of the night are through, things have calmed down. Townfolk seem to be pretty content to have just driven out the evil and the corrupt. Before long, a fishy-looking individual will have volunteered for the position and be approved by the mayor as the new sheriff of Tombstone.
Before the dust is settled, I want to go investigate her office and her home.
You will find very little evidence of any corruption, but you will find that you are not the first person who has been here. Both her office and her home have been searched.
Do I find anything that, other people might not have noticed or thought to look for?
All that you know is that nothing has been unnoticed or unthought of. Her place is a complete wreck.
What would Finn think of this?
Strikes you as local politics best to be stayed out of, although she did run north.
She probably needs help. Also, it's 1 o'clock and I need to go.
So as the sun sets on Tombstone, Why don't you just put something over your camera there, Serranus, and I can wrap up the show that way. Thank you for playing, man. As the sun sets on Tombstone, a few things seem to be set pretty much clear for the posse. The saint, the sinner, the scientist are headed in the same direction as the sheriff, seeking the man who never sleeps, who may or may not actually be Sam's brother, or somehow connected to Sam's brother. And with a renewed vigor, your hunt for the Injun treasure is renewed. Things seem to be going south real quick in Tombstone, so it is probably for the best that you vacate the next day. Sonny will definitely be exceedingly unhappy that he has been brought along on a Ghost Rock train. Ample application of apples and alliterations will calm the horse down, and y'all can set off the next morning. Hot on the heels of Emma, the falsely accused corrupt sheriff, and the man who never sleeps, whose identity and true nature has yet to be determined. Few things are certain, but those that are include, I really doubt Sam's giving up the search now.
Hey, hello.
And where Sam goes, Matthias will go. Who is the man with half a face? How did he know what he knew? What did what he said mean? Is this the work of the devil? Or is it just a figment of the posse's imagination? The questions to these answers and more await you next Friday